I stood there, frozen, as my sister's voice cut through the dining room like a knife. "You're just dead weight, Emily. You don't contribute anything. Why should you even have access to the family account?" Everyone was staring. I felt my face burn. Then a man in a suit stepped forward from the doorway. "Excuse me. Are you Emily Carter?" My sister's smirk faltered. That's when he handed me the envelope. "I'm Emily Carter, and I'm 36 years old. I work as a claims processor at a small insurance company." It's not glamorous. I drive a 12-year-old sedan that makes a weird clicking sound when I turn left, and I live in a one-bedroom apartment with carpet that's seen better days. My furniture is mostly secondhand. My clothes come from outlet stores. I'm not poor, but I'm not impressive either. Not by my family's standards, anyway. See, in my family, I've always been labeled the unreliable one. The one who doesn't have it together. The one who makes questionable choices. My sister, Vanessa, is 3 years younger than me, but you'd think she was born wearing a crown. She's a real estate agent, drives a leased BMW, wears designer everything, and never lets anyone forget it. Growing up, she was the one who got straight A's while I struggled with math. She was the one who got into the better college while I went to community school first. She married a corporate lawyer. I dated a musician for 5 years who eventually left me for someone with better career prospects. My parents made it clear early on who the success story was. Every family dinner turned into a highlight reel of Vanessa's achievements. New listings sold, vacation to Europe, promotion for her husband. And me, I was the punchline, the cautionary tale. "Well, at least Vanessa has her life figured out," my mom would say, as if I wasn't sitting right there. I learned to survive without praise. I learned to keep my head down, do my work, pay my bills, and not expect much. I had dreams once. Quiet ones. I wanted to write. I wanted to travel. I wanted to feel like I mattered to someone. But I kept those dreams to myself because sharing them only invited judgment. My family didn't see me as someone with potential. They saw me as someone who needed to be managed, tolerated, kept at arm's length from anything important. I wasn't trusted with family decisions. I wasn't included in planning. I wasn't asked for my opinion. And somewhere along the way, I started to believe that maybe they were right. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I really was just less than. But here's the thing they didn't know. I wasn't rich or glamorous, and I didn't have the life they valued. But I had something they didn't expect. I had a connection to someone who actually saw me. Someone who believed I was worth more than the role they'd assigned me. And that envelope the stranger handed me, it was about to prove it. I know what it's like to feel underestimated. To be written off by the people who are supposed to know you best. If you've ever been judged by family standards that don't fit who you really are, you're not alone. I'm sharing this story because I think a lot of us carry that weight. If it resonates, consider subscribing. Hit the like button, and click that hype button to let me know you're here. It means more than you think. Now, let me tell you what happened next. The family gathering that day wasn't supposed to be about me. It was supposed to be about my parents' anniversary. Vanessa had organized the whole thing at her house, of course, because she's the one with the big dining room and the kitchen island made of actual marble. There were about 15 of us there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole performance. I'd brought a casserole and a card. Vanessa had catered. You can guess who got the compliments. Everything was fine at first. Awkward, but fine. I stayed quiet, smiled when expected, and tried not to draw attention. But then my dad brought up the family account. See, my parents had opened a joint account years ago, something they used for shared expenses, family trips, emergency funds. It was supposed to be a safety net for all of us. Vanessa and I were both supposed to have access when they got older. That was the plan. At least, that's what I thought. My dad cleared his throat and said they'd been reviewing their finances. He said they wanted to make sure everything was organized for the future. Then he looked at Vanessa and said, "We've added you as the primary on the account. You'll handle things if anything happens to us." I blinked. I looked at my mom. She didn't meet my eyes. "Wait," I said. "What about me?" Vanessa didn't even glance my way. She was smiling at Dad, nodding like this was exactly what she expected. My dad shifted in his chair. Well, Emily, we just thought it made sense. Vanessa's better with money. She understands investments and legal things. We didn't want to burden you. Burden me, like I was a child, like I couldn't be trusted. I'm 36 years old, I said quietly. I pay my own bills. I've never asked you for money. Why wouldn't you at least talk to me about this? My mom finally spoke. It's not personal, sweetheart, it's just practical. Vanessa laughed, actually laughed. Come on, Em. You know you're not exactly financially responsible. Remember when you bought that car without checking the interest rate? Or when you quit your job to follow that band around? That was over a decade ago, I said. My voice was shaking now. I've had the same job for 8 years. I have savings, I have credit. Why are you acting like I'm some kind of disaster? Because you are, Vanessa said, leaning back in her chair. You've always been a disaster. Mom and Dad are just trying to protect what they've built. You'd probably blow it on some impulsive trip or lend it to some guy who says he loves you. The room went silent. A few people looked down at their plates. No one defended me. No one said a word. I felt my throat tighten. I wanted to scream. I wanted to walk out. But I just sat there frozen because this was what I'd learned to do. Take it. Survive it. Don't make waves. Then the doorbell rang. Vanessa frowned. Who's that? Everyone's already here. Her husband got up to answer it. A moment later, a man in a dark suit stepped into the dining room. He was holding a leather briefcase and looked completely out of place among the half-eaten appetizers and wine glasses. I'm sorry to interrupt, he said. I'm looking for Emily Carter. Every head turned toward me. I felt my stomach drop. That's me, I said. He walked over and extended his hand. Miss Carter, my name is Richard Brennan. I'm with First Union Bank. I've been trying to reach you for several weeks regarding an estate matter. Since you didn't respond to our letters, I was asked to deliver this in person. He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a thick manila envelope. My name was printed on the front in bold letters. I stared at it. What is this? I asked. It's regarding the estate of Alina Hartman, he said. I believe she was your great-aunt. She passed away 4 months ago and you're named in her will. This contains the preliminary documents and a letter she left for you. Alina. I hadn't thought about her in years. She was my grandmother's sister. She'd never married, never had kids. She lived in a little house upstate and sent me birthday cards when I was younger. My family barely talked about her. I didn't even know she'd died. Why didn't anyone tell me? I asked, looking at my parents. My mom looked genuinely surprised. We didn't know either. Alina wasn't close with the family. Vanessa was staring at the envelope like it was a bomb. What's in it? She asked. Mr. Brennan smiled politely. That's between Miss Carter and the estate, I'm afraid. But I will say that there are some decisions that need to be made soon. Emily, I'd encourage you to read everything carefully and contact our office when you're ready. He handed me a business card, nodded to the room, and left. I sat there holding the envelope. My hands were shaking. Vanessa's face had gone pale. My dad was frowning. Well, open it, Vanessa said. I looked at her, at all of them. And for the first time in years, I felt something shift inside me. No, I said, not here. I stood up, grabbed my purse, and walked out. No one stopped me. Over the next 2 weeks, everything got worse. I didn't open the envelope right away. I know that sounds stupid, but I was scared. Scared it was nothing. Scared it was something. Scared that whatever was inside would just give my family another reason to judge me. But they didn't wait for me to figure it out. They started making moves on their own. Betrayal number 1 happened 3 days after the dinner. I went to check my bank account online and noticed something weird. There was a joint account listed under my profile that I'd never seen before. It was labeled Family Emergency Fund. I clicked on it. The balance was over $60,000. And my name wasn't on it. I called the bank. The woman on the phone confirmed that the account had been opened 8 years ago by my parents, with both Vanessa and me listed as secondary holders. But 6 months ago, my name had been removed. Removed by who? I asked. By the primary account holder, she said. It looks like your father authorized it. I felt sick. I called my dad. Why did you take me off the account? I asked. He sighed. Emily, we talked about this. Vanessa's handling things now. It's simpler this way. You didn't talk to me about it. You just erased me. Don't be dramatic. You still have your own money. This doesn't affect you. But it did. It told me exactly how much they trusted me, which was not at all. Betrayal number 2 came a few days later. I ran into an old friend of my mom's at the grocery store. She gave me this pitying look and said, I heard you've been having a tough time financially. If you need help, there's no shame in asking. I stared at her. What are you talking about? Your sister mentioned it at book club. She said you've been struggling to make rent and that your parents have been helping you out. I felt my face go hot. That's not true. I've never asked them for a dime. She looked uncomfortable. Oh, well, maybe I misunderstood. But she hadn't. Vanessa had lied. She'd told people I was a charity case, that I was barely surviving, that I was dependent on them. I confronted her over text. Why are you telling people I'm broke? Her response was fast. I'm just being honest about your situation. People ask about you. What am I supposed to say? You're supposed to tell the truth. I'm not struggling. I'm fine. Sure, Jan. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Betrayal number 3 was the worst. My parents called me and asked me to come over. They said it was important. When I got there, Vanessa was already sitting in the living room, looking smug. My dad slid a piece of paper across the table toward me. We need you to sign this, he said. I picked it up. It was some kind of legal waiver. The language was dense, but I caught phrases like relinquish claim and future estate distribution. What is this? I asked. It's just a formality, my mom said. We're updating our will, and we need to make sure everything's clear. Vanessa's going to be the executor, and this just confirms that you're okay with the arrangements we've made. What arrangements? My dad frowned. The ones we've discussed. Vanessa managing the estate, the account, the property, we've talked about this. No, you haven't, I said. You've told me what you decided. You haven't asked me anything. Vanessa rolled her eyes. God, Emily, why do you always have to make everything difficult? Just sign it. It doesn't even affect you. You're not losing anything. Then why do I need to sign it? She didn't have an answer. I put the paper down. I'm not signing anything until I talk to a lawyer. My dad's face went red. A lawyer? Are you serious? We're your family. Then treat me like it, I said. I left again. But this time I went home and finally opened the envelope. Inside were 3 things: a letter, a legal document, and a key. I read the letter first. It was handwritten on cream-colored paper, dated 2 months before Alina died. Dear Emily, it began. If you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I didn't reach out more while I was alive. The truth is, I watched you grow up from a distance, and I saw something in you that reminded me of myself. You were always the one they overlooked, the one they underestimated. I know how that feels. I know what it does to you, but I also know you're stronger than they think. I never had children of my own, but I always felt a kinship with you. You were kind. You were thoughtful. You didn't need to be the loudest person in the room to matter. So I made a decision years ago. I wanted to leave you something that would give you freedom. Not just money, though there is some of that, but choices, security, a chance to build the life you deserve without needing anyone's approval. What they didn't know was that I'd been planning this for a long time. I kept it quiet because I didn't want them pressuring you or making you feel guilty. This is yours. No strings, no conditions. Just a gift from someone who saw you. All my love, Alina. I read it 3 times. My hands were shaking. Then I looked at the legal document. It was a will summary. Alina had left me her house, her savings account, and a stock portfolio I didn't even know existed. The estimated total value was listed at the bottom, $470,000. I sat there on my couch, staring at the number, and I started to cry. Not because of the money, but because someone had seen me. Someone had believed I was worth it. The key was for the house. There was a note attached with the address. I realized I'd been there once, maybe twice, as a kid. I didn't remember much about it except that it was small and surrounded by trees. I thought about all the letters the bank had sent. The ones I'd been too afraid to open because I assumed they were bills or collections or something awful. They'd been trying to tell me. And I hadn't listened. What they didn't know was that a leaner had been watching, that she'd seen how they treated me and decided to do something about it. That the person they'd written off had just inherited more than they'd ever given me. I didn't tell them. Not yet. I needed to understand what I was dealing with first. I needed to be ready. Because I knew that, when they found out, everything was going to explode. I called the number on Richard Brennan's business card the next morning. He answered on the second ring. "Miss Carter," he said warmly, "I'm glad to hear from you. Did you have a chance to review the documents?" "I did," I said. "I have a lot of questions." "Of course, why don't you come by the office? I can walk you through everything." We set up a meeting for 2 days later. When I arrived, he led me into a small conference room and laid out a file that was easily 2 inches thick. "Your great-aunt was very thorough," he said. "She worked with our estate planning team for over a decade. She knew exactly what she wanted." He explained that a leaner had set up a trust in my name when I turned 18. She'd been adding to it for years, small contributions that grew through investments. She'd also paid off her house years ago and kept it maintained specifically so I'd have the option to sell it or live in it. "She left instructions," he said. "She didn't want your family involved. She was very clear about that. Everything goes directly to you, no shared accounts, no joint ownership, it's yours." "Why?" I asked. "Why me?" he smiled. "She said you were the only one who never asked her for anything. The only one who sent her thank you notes for the birthday cards. The only one who called just to check on her. I didn't even remember doing that, but apparently it mattered." He walked me through the next steps. I'd need to sign some documents, decide whether to sell the house or keep it, transfer the funds into my own accounts. It was overwhelming, but he was patient. He explained everything twice. And then he said something that made my stomach flip. "You should know," he said carefully, "that your family has been making inquiries." "What kind of inquiries?" "Your sister contacted us last week. She claimed to be handling your affairs and wanted information about the estate. We told her we could only speak with you directly. She wasn't happy." I wasn't surprised. Vanessa couldn't stand not knowing something, especially if it involved money. "There's something else," he said. "A leaner left a video message. She recorded it a few months before she passed." "Would you like to see it?" I nodded. He pulled out a laptop and pressed play. A leaner's face filled the screen. She looked older than I remembered, but her eyes were sharp. She smiled. "Hello, Emily," she said. "If you're watching this, it means everything went according to plan. I want you to know that I'm proud of you, not because of anything you accomplished or achieved, but because you stayed kind. You stayed genuine. You didn't let them break you. I know they made you feel small. I know they treated you like you didn't matter, but you do. And I hope this gift reminds you of that. Use it wisely, use it freely, and don't let them guilt you into sharing it. You owe them nothing. Take care of yourself, sweetheart. You deserve every bit of this." The video ended. I wiped my eyes. Richard handed me a tissue. "She was a remarkable woman," he said. I nodded. "Yeah, she was." When I left his office that day, I had a folder full of signed documents and a plan. I wasn't going to hide anymore. I wasn't going to shrink. I was going to let them show me exactly who they were, and then I was going to walk away. Over the next 3 weeks, I watched my family dig their own graves. I didn't say a word about a leaner. I didn't mention the inheritance. I just observed, and it was horrifying. Vanessa started talking about a vacation property. She told my mom she'd been looking at condos in Florida and that once things were finalized, she'd be able to make an offer. My mom asked what she meant. "You know," Vanessa said. "Once we have access to everything, once the estate stuff is done." She thought Alina's money was going to her, or to all of them. She had no idea. My dad started talking about retiring early. He mentioned something about liquidating assets and said he'd been talking to a financial planner. "We're in a good position," he said over dinner one night. "Better than I thought." I asked him what changed. He waved me off. "Just some family things coming through, nothing you need to worry about." They were counting money that wasn't theirs. They were planning a future based on something they had no claim to. And they were doing it right in front of me, assuming I was too irrelevant to notice. Then Vanessa made a mistake. She invited me to lunch, just the two of us. I almost said no, but I was curious. We met at some trendy place she picked. She ordered a salad and sparkling water. I ordered a sandwich. She spent the first 10 minutes talking about herself, her clients, her listings, her husband's new promotion. Then she leaned forward and dropped her voice. "So, Em, I wanted to talk to you about something." "Okay. I know things have been tense lately, and I know you were upset about the account thing, but I think we need to be realistic here. Mom and Dad aren't going to be around forever, and when that time comes, someone's going to have to manage everything. And honestly, I think we both know that someone should be me." I took a bite of my sandwich and didn't say anything. She continued, "I'm not trying to cut you out. I just think it makes sense for me to handle the logistics. You can still benefit from everything. You just don't have to deal with the paperwork and the stress." "Doesn't that sound better? You want me to sign over control," I said. She blinked. "I wouldn't put it that way." "How would you put it?" "I'd call it being smart. Letting the person who's good at this stuff take care of it so you don't have to worry." I set down my sandwich. "And what do I get in return?" She smiled. "Security, family support. You wouldn't have to stress about money anymore. I'd make sure you were taken care of." "Taken care of? Like a pet? Like a dependent? What if I don't want that?" I asked. Her smile faded. "Then you're being stubborn for no reason. This is what's best for everyone. Or just best for you." Her face went cold. "You know what, Emily? This is exactly why no one takes you seriously. You act like everything's an attack, like people are out to get you, when really we're just trying to help." "I don't need your help," I said. "Yeah," she said. "You do. You just don't want to admit it." I stood up, left cash on the table, and walked out. She didn't follow me. 2 days later, Richard called. "We're ready to finalize everything," he said. "There's going to be an official meeting at the estate law office to close out Aliner's will. Your family has been notified as a courtesy since they're listed as distant beneficiaries for a few personal items. But the financial portion is only being discussed with you." "When?" I asked. "Friday, 2 p.m. I marked it on my calendar. This was it. The moment everything came out, I didn't warn them, I didn't prepare them, I just let it happen. The law office was on the 10th floor of a glass building downtown. I arrived 15 minutes early and sat in the waiting room, trying to keep my hands from shaking. At exactly 2 p.m., my parents walked in. Then Vanessa and her husband. They all looked confused. "What's going on?" my dad asked. "Why are we here?" The receptionist gestured toward the conference room. "Mr. Brennan is ready for you." We filed in. Richard was already seated at the head of a long table. There were documents laid out in front of him, and a woman I didn't recognize sitting to his left. "Good afternoon," Richard said. "Thank you all for coming. This is Angela Ruiz, the estate attorney handling Alina Hartman's will. We've gathered today to finalize the distribution of assets and review the terms Alina set forth before her passing." My mom frowned. "I don't understand. Alina barely had anything." "Why is this necessary?" Angela spoke. "Mrs. Hartman's estate is valued at approximately $470,000. It includes property, savings, and investment accounts. The disbursement is straightforward, but we wanted to ensure all parties were informed." Vanessa's mouth fell open. "470,000? My dad stared. "That can't be right." Alina lived in a tiny house. She didn't have money. She was quite financially prudent, Angela said, and she made specific arrangements. She opened a folder. "The estate is to be distributed as follows. Personal items, including photographs, jewelry, and household goods, are to be divided among surviving relatives as they see fit. However, all financial assets, real property, and investment accounts are bequeathed solely to Emily Marie Carter. Silence. Dead silence. Vanessa's face went white. What? My dad leaned forward. There must be a mistake. Angela shook her head. There's no mistake. Miss Carter is the sole beneficiary. Alina was very clear in her instructions. She worked with our firm for over a decade to ensure everything was structured correctly. My mom turned to me. Did you know about this? I met her eyes. Yes, Vanessa exploded. Are you kidding me? You've been sitting on this the whole time. You didn't think to tell us. Why would I asked. You didn't tell me when you removed me from the family account. You didn't tell me when you lied about me to your friends. You didn't ask me before trying to get me to sign away my rights. So no, I didn't think I owed you an explanation. This is insane, Vanessa said. Alina barely knew you. Why would she leave everything to you? Because she saw something in me that you didn't, I said. My dad's voice was tight. Emily, this is a family matter. We should discuss how to handle this together. There's nothing to discuss, I said. It's not your money. It was never your money. Alina left it to me and I'm keeping it. Vanessa stood up. You're being selfish. This should be split among the family. It's not fair that you get everything just because some old lady felt sorry for you. Angela cut in. Mrs. Hartman's will is legally binding. There's no contest. The decision has been made. Vanessa's husband put a hand on her arm, but she yanked it away. You don't even need it, Emily. You've always been fine with nothing. Why do you suddenly care about money now? I don't care about the money, I said. I care about the fact that someone actually valued me. Someone thought I was worth investing in, and that person wasn't any of you. My mom's face crumpled. That's not fair, isn't it? I asked. You've spent my entire life telling me I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't responsible, that I couldn't be trusted. You erased me from accounts. You lied about me. You tried to manipulate me into signing documents I didn't understand. And now you want me to share something that was given to me because someone actually believed in me. No, I'm done. My dad stood. If you do this, Emily, you're going to regret it. Family is more important than money. You're right, I said. Family is important. But you stopped treating me like family a long time ago. I turned to Richard. Are we done here? He nodded. We are. I'll have the final transfer documents ready by next week. I stood, grabbed my bag, and walked out. Behind me, I heard Vanessa shouting. I heard my mom crying. I didn't look back. 3 months later, I sold Alina's house. It went for more than the appraisal suggested. I used part of the money to pay off my car and my student loans. I put the rest into savings and investments, working with a financial planner who didn't treat me like I was clueless. I didn't buy anything flashy. I didn't quit my job. I didn't change my life in any dramatic way, but I felt lighter. I felt free. My family tried to reach out a few times. My mom sent texts asking if we could talk. My dad left voicemails saying they missed me. Vanessa sent nothing. I didn't respond right away. I needed space. I needed time to figure out who I was without their voices in my head telling me I wasn't enough. Eventually, I did talk to my mom. It was brief. She apologized, sort of. She said they didn't realize how much they'd hurt me. She said they just wanted what was best. I told her that what was best for me was distance. That I needed to build a life where I wasn't constantly defending my worth. She cried, but she didn't argue. I haven't spoken to Vanessa. I don't plan to. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding. I think about Alina a lot. I wish I'd known her better. I wish I'd thanked her while she was still alive. But I'm trying to honor her gift by living differently. By believing that I'm worth the space I take up. By refusing to shrink for people who need me small. I'm not rich. I'm not transformed. I'm still me. But I'm free. And that's worth more than anything they ever gave me. If you've ever been betrayed by family over money, if you've ever been excluded or taken advantage of by the people who were supposed to protect you, I want you to know you're not alone. It's one of the hardest things to go through because it's not just about the money. It's about trust. It's about worth. And it's about realizing that the people who should have had your back didn't. If you've got a story like this, share it in the comments. Let's build a space where we can be honest about this stuff. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing. Hit the like button. And please, click that hype button to help this reach others who need to hear it. You're not crazy for feeling hurt. You're not selfish for setting boundaries. You matter. Standing up for yourself is hard, especially when it's against the people who raised you. But you deserve to be seen. You deserve to be valued. If this story hit home, I hope you'll subscribe and join this community. We're building something real here, something supportive. Click that hype button and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. I read every single one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, your worth isn't determined by anyone else's opinion, not even family.